They're like, this guy is rated 1 to 300 odds of winning because he's, 2 feet tall and weighs 400 pounds. But this guy...
Dear God, who is this poor man?
He's just rolling, I guess, whoever this man is. Hey everybody, welcome to Fess Up, where the Fess sisters help spice up your conversations with unique and thought-provoking questions. That's right, we are breaking the ice with a sledgehammer!
Kaplooey!
Dun dun dun!
Whoppa!
This voice you're hearing belongs to the oldest Fess on the podcast, Amy Fess.
This voice belongs to the middlest Fess on the podcast, Marissa Fess.
And this voice belongs to the youngest Fess on the podcast, Ina Fess. So recently, I've been thinking, because I live with Marissa, so...
What?
Yeah, I know.
So that's why I've been seeing you around a lot.
No, actually, I've just been haunting you. I'm a ghost now.
That's very spooky Halloween.
I know. But I've been thinking, in the spirit of Halloween, I've known her my whole life. But if someone told me Marissa's actually a vampire, I don't think I'd be surprised. Like, okay, one, she's got, the palest skin I've ever seen. And a very bad relationship with the sun.
It burns me.
Go outside for 30 seconds in the winter and she'll get a 3rd-degree burn or some crap like that. I don't know. The sun and her are not simpatico.
I did once get a 2nd-degree burn from the sun in half an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah. So Marissa and their son are not friends necessarily. And also, though, recently, I'll come home and all of the lights in the house are off and it's pretty dark and Marissa's just there in the darkness.
You know I like the dark.
That's the point!
That's a vampire trait.
Oh.
Also, she has POTS, so she's got really thin blood. And honestly, I think, if a vampire were to actually have blood, it would be thin, so they need to drink other people's blood so that it will thicken their blood out or something like that. I don't really know. But she's got thin blood. That's weird. Also, I can imagine her with fangs. I think she would rock them.
I would.
Also, she's a bit bloodthirsty. Not necessarily in the physical way that I've seen, at least. But, she's out for blood sometimes.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Have you seen your enemies recently?
No.
Are we sure that Marissa's gonna take her time if she's a vampire to eliminate your enemies?
Well, has she seen her enemies either?
That's the question you should be asking.
I ran out of my enemies, so...
Oh, I see.
It just checks out. I think Marissa might actually secretly be a vampire, and I have been thinking about this for days. I'm not kidding.
It is spooky time of year.
It is. It's spooky Halloween time.
And what are you going to be for Halloween, Marissa?
I was considering being Bella from Twilight, Vampire Edition.
A vampire. Mm-hmm.
That's
I even
hilarious.
got body sparkles for that purpose.
So you could say that perhaps Ina's onto something.
I didn't even think of that.
Just say it. That's why I'm here. I'm here to do the big thinking that your brain's not capable of.
Wow.
Hey.
Thanks.
Plus, I get very repulsed when people start talking about religion.
Oh, that's true. But you do like garlic.
Well, not all superstitions can be true.
That's fair.
Yeah, come on. At some point, you know that vampires would either remember from when they were human or just see humans all the time, obsessing over garlic, and they would have found an antidote to that shit.
That's true.
There is no way on God's green earth a vampire's gonna live 400 years and not have eaten a fucking delicious garlic breadstick.
That's fair.
Or back in the day, one of the vampires was like, hey, let me make up something. Oh, vampires can eat garlic. And then he ate a bunch of garlic and he was like, see, I couldn't possibly be a vampire.
That's so true.
That's good.
Also, though, Marissa, if someone told me she'd been actually secretly alive for hundreds of years, I wouldn't be shocked because, she has a lot of random knowledge, and especially knowledge of, like, medieval torture and stuff.
It's a fascinating topic.
And I feel as though a vampire would know that.
You asked me about torture methods last night. Don't pretend.
I did because I know that you know, and I wouldn't be surprised if you knew firsthand.
She did because she was investigating whether or not you were a vampire.
Obviously.
I responded too readily. I had so many ideas. She was like, what's the best way to torture a penis? And I was like, I have a million ideas.
She had so much to say.
I even drew a diagram.
You fell right into her trap, is what we're getting at here. You did not think that she was suspecting you, and so you were too excited to answer all of your old torture methods.
Right.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had no idea you guys were on to me, and now it's, like, super awkward.
I mean, you say you guys, but I mean, the only person who's known you their entire life on this podcast is me.
Yes, but did you ever consider this? I don't think you did. I think you're oblivious.
No, what I'm implying here is that I'm also a vampire that's older than you.
Oh.
And Ina is the only non-vampire on this podcast.
Wow.
In what way are you a vampire, though?
Maybe I'm not a vampire. Maybe I'm like a werewolf or something else that will live forever.
And that's why we have a natural hatred for each other.
That's it.
Natural hatred.
It would make a lot of sense if I was like a Twilight werewolf because I run so hot.
You really do.
It's a thing. I'm also very sexy, but that's besides the point.
And you like to be shirtless.
Everyone should like to be shirtless. Shirts suck.
I mean,
Clothing sucks.
that is accurate.
I haven't talked about my love for nudism in a while. If evolution wanted us to wear clothes, we would be furry like cats or dogs because that's the clothing of the animal world.
Straight up, when we diverged from apes, we shed all that fur. We said nudity is the way.
Mm-hmm.
But we kept a tuft on our head because we were like, this looks kind of dope.
We needed to express ourselves still.
Yes.
You know humans, we like to stand out. We're very full of ourselves.
I don't know, I like sitting down more.
Wow.
You do. Are you human? Are any of us human?
I don't know.
What's Ina? Ina's a Gumby.
I'm not that stretchy anymore, to be honest.
Well, maybe Gumby grows out of it and gets all stiff in his older age.
I don't know shit about Gumby, I'm gonna be real.
She's lanky. She's cartoonishly nice.
Is Gumby nice? I don't think I've ever watched Gumby.
I don't know. He's always smiling.
I have genuinely never in my life known a thing about Gumby except for what I've been told about Gumby.
He looks like a piece of bacon.
He's green and apparently he's bendy, and that's about all I know about him. He looks like a gingerbread man.
Me too.
He's like a green piece of bacon shaped like a man.
That's me.
Yeah.
I have a green piece of bacon shaped like a man.
Exactly.
That's so true. Oh.
Well, how about a question?
How about an answer?
Yes, how about?
Let's see if two supernatural beings and a perhaps
Gumby?
Gumby, but probably just a human.
Probably just a human that looks like a green piece of bacon.
Shaped like a man.
Let's see if two supernatural beings and maybe a Gumby, but probably just a human, can answer some questions.
All right.
So this first question, a little bit of backstory. There's a video out there where a reporter tries to ask Elon Musk about his son and pronounces his name out loud. And Elon is, like, confused. And he's like, that sounds like a password. And it takes him a few minutes before he realizes, oh, you mean my kid? So that makes me think, do you think that Elon Musk actually named his kid his password?
That would be so stupid.
I just want to jump in here immediately with what I think happened. I feel like he wrote it on a post-it note and stuck it on his computer at one point, this Exasha 12. And at some point, Grimes, who at that point was pregnant, was trying to get him to come up with a baby name. He's not helping, so she goes to his computer, sees Exasha 12 on a post-it note on his computer and goes, is this what you want to name our baby? And Elon not wanting her to know that that's his password for literally everything, so she can't like get on and stalk him or anything and reveal all the people he's cheating on her with. He said, yes, that is what I want to name our baby. And so now his password is his baby's name.
Well, he would have to have changed it.
No wonder she was fine with it, though. I mean, she calls herself Grimes.
That's true.
I think that's more heinous than Exasha12.
What do you mean? Exasha12 is awful.
Grimes.
Have you seen a picture of Grimes? Because she looks like Dark Alice in Harvard.
She does.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she should call herself Grimes.
She just like looks like if Alice in Harvard had a Wario version of herself. That's Grimes.
True.
But yeah, do you subscribe to the theory that Exasha12 is actually Elon Musk's password?
I mean,
I don't think it is anymore. I think he had to change it.
That's fair.
that's what I'm saying.
But you think that it was?
Yes.
You think that my headcanon...
I mean, I think that's the only logical explanation for that name.
I mean, they tried to be like, well, this means this and this means that, but to me it sounded a lot like they had already picked out all the things and had to try to shoehorn reasons why on top of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, the Exasha is, has to do with the airplane. That's our favorite airplane. It's like, does anybody really like airplanes that much? Especially when you...
Except, like, airplane people.
Well, yeah, but it's just like, one of you is a singer and one of you, like, wants to go into space real bad, so why do you care about, like, airplanes?
Mm-hmm. Suspicious.
It just feels like you're like, what has the ash symbol in it? Oh, fuck, there's an airplane that does. We could pretend it's our favorite. Just to make it make sense. How about a bit?
A bit?
A bit?
A bit?
Actually, wait, you know what? I'm gonna just change the order of these.
Oh.
Here's another question.
Alright.
This question I got from season 2 of The Circle, a show that I very much enjoy binging.
It's a good show.
Would you rather go to prison for a year or go to prison until you finish a Rubik's Cube?
Well, I've never finished a Rubik's Cube before, so I guess I really don't know.
That's the point.
That is the point of this question. Like, do you think you could finish the Rubik's Cube before a year is up?
I feel like I could, because I would just devote all of my time to that.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think I'm smart enough to figure it out. Also, can you cheat?
No.
Well, how do you know? Is there someone checking?
Have you ever been in a prison? There are guards and video cameras everywhere.
So you're saying that in the prison, there is going to be someone checking my Rubik's Cube progress at all times?
They have eyes on you at all times, so if you start getting funky and peeling the stickers off or start trying to break your Rubik's Cube into pieces to rearrange it, people are gonna see that.
But are they gonna snitch? I think that in order to make sure that I'm doing it and not cheating, they're gonna have to station someone outside.
Maybe they do, especially if you get let out the second that your Rubik's Cube is done. They're gonna be like, oh, is this cube done yet? I'm saying you cannot cheat. They will know.
Alright. Well, to be honest, I would probably pick the Rubik's Cube thing, but I don't know. What if... do I really want to spend all of my time working on a Rubik's Cube?
Or would you rather just chill out in a prison and read books and do some fun prison jobs for 50 cents an hour?
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
I've never finished a Rubik's Cube either, and I don't know how long I would not be able to finish a Rubik's Cube. It's tough, and if you don't know anything about Rubik's Cube solving, like there are some people out there who've like memorized how to do it. If you don't know anything about it, you're just like turning and hoping you get lucky.
I feel like the closer I get towards finishing a Rubik's Cube, the further away I get from actually doing it. Like if I have everything except for like 2 things in the right spot, I have to mess it up way worse to get it back to where it needs to be, and I don't think I've ever finished one either.
To be honest, I don't think I've really tried that hard.
No, me neither.
I mean, I've tried pretty hard. There was a while that like Rubik's Cubes were really in. People were doing them all the time, and I thought it was cool, and I wanted to finish one. But I don't think I've ever really been able to finish one, except for maybe when somebody messed it up only a really easy amount of times. But we're assuming in this case, it's a very messed up one. And I just feel like I would do the Rubik's Cube, but the hard part for me would be when people realized that I get out when I finish the Rubik's Cube, and then they start trying to fuck that up for me because they get mad at me because it's prison. They start trying to either steal my Rubik's Cube or break my Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, they would smash it.
Right? I think if they were like, this girl can get out the second that she finishes this Rubik's Cube, but I have to stay here 25 to life.
Oh, here's the question. Do we have to decide in advance, like, oh, I'll take the Rubik's Cube? So it's not like it's over in a year either way, right?
Right.
It's like a full-on gamble.
Yes. You run the risk if you choose the Rubik's Cube of it taking more than a year.
Okay.
If you're really bad at Rubik's Cubes.
Hot damn.
Because, like, at the same time, it does feel to me like that year I spent at summer camp just, like, learning to shuffle. So I just brought a deck of cards everywhere and was just practicing shuffling everywhere I went. Just for fun, so that I'd be good at it. And it just feels like that might be what prison would be like for me with this Rubik's Cube. I just like always have this Rubik's Cube with me that I'm just trying to do.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the Rubik's Cube is the safer bet, in my opinion, if I'm just like dedicated to solving a Rubik's Cube one time.
I agree.
All right. I've looked up the average time of solving a Rubik's Cube, and it's 20 to 25 minutes. So I think I could do it.
You're gonna take 3 days, guaranteed. At least.
Well, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, if the average time is 20 to 25 minutes, and even if I'm worse
but
than
that's not for first timers.
That's also the average time based on who? Because, like we've just said, none of us have finished a Rubik's Cube. And, like, I was never polled.
Well, I've never tried too hard.
There are situations where that Rubik's Cube is fucked the fuck up. You make one wrong move, that's another 25 minutes. You make another wrong move, you got a 25 minutes out of that one. I don't think that that's trustworthy. How do you know?
I think the Rubik's Cube is the safer bet, but it's gonna be miserable. I have not found Rubik's Cubes fun, ever. So, like, it's prison and Rubik's Cube suffering, both.
I've just looked up this thing again to see if I can find another one. It says it takes the average person about 3 hours to solve a Rubik's Cube for the first time. But it can take a speed cuber only 7 seconds. So yeah. Then here's another one that says it can take you around 2 minutes or greater. And I'm like,
or greater.
No shit. 2 minutes. Of course it's gonna take 2 minutes or greater. Well, that's really not going out on a limit, all is it?
I mean, it'll take you at least one spin of the cube. Or more.
Or more, wow.
Or more.
It's kind of like, this answer is right, but it's not as right.
Yeah. Like, could you imagine being a fortune teller? And they're like, oh man, check my lifeline. How long am I gonna live? And they're like, you're gonna live for 1 minute or more.
I feel like that's what they do. Isn't that their whole job? Is to be like, what is the vaguest thing that I can say?
Most cryptic?
The most cryptic thing that they're absolutely gonna have to say that I was right.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've heard that, like, a psychic who's just kind of, like, doing it for the optics and scamming qualities is, like, just sitting there waiting to read your body language to be like, oh, I see someone from the great beyond. And if your eyes twitch, they're like, so they do have someone in the great beyond that they're thinking of. And then they try to be like, I can sense someone young, and then they don't have any reaction. Oh no, they're aging as they get closer to me. They're going through their life, and then now I see someone old, and their eyes twitch. It's like, your grandmother, and they say nothing, and then they're like, oh, just kidding, it's your grandfather. Their eyes twitch, and then they're like, oh, how'd you know I had a dead grandfather? He's visiting me right now.
Oh, do you know someone named Steve? And you're like, no. Like, oh, not Steve. Sam. Oh, I do know a Sam. Yes, that's the one.
Sam is calling to me. Oh, he has your number?
No, he's dead. And then all of a sudden you're worried about Sam.
That reminds me, going back to last week of Impractical Jokers, I watched an episode where they were pretending to be tarot card readers.
Oh.
And they flipped one and the girl was like, oh, I know somebody who's in the hospital. And they tried to make, I think it was Joe, be like, you're gonna get a call soon.
Yep.
And that's what that reminds me of.
Okay, I have looked it up, but not some official article. I looked up a Quora question, and everyone is telling their own personal stories of how long it took to solve a Rubik's Cube their first time.
Okay.
Okay, and the range in this answer is from 6 hours to a month.
Okay, well, I can do a month in jail.
Oh, someone said 3 months. Someone said several months.
That's what I'm thinking would happen for me. I just am not good at Rubik's Cubes.
What if we change the question to, would you rather be in prison for 2 months or until you solve a Rubik's Cube? Then I feel like 2 months might be better.
I don't know, because 2 months doesn't, like, if you're only in there for a couple months, so I don't think they ever put you in, like, the big prisons. I think you're just in, like, the county jail or whatever. So it's not as bad.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I would take the jail.
But I think that I would still take the Rubik's Cube at that point. Just because on paper, like, I would hope that I could solve it faster than 2 months. But also, I don't know, I'm just always gonna go with the Rubik's Cube, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, well, obviously for the year I'm doing the Rubik's Cube, but I'm saying if you shorted it on 2 months, it might be better to just do your time. What was my crime?
For 2 months, I don't know. I don't want to spend a whole 2 months working on a Rubik's Cube, so I'll just do my time in jail, catch up on some books.
Right? Just chill.
Hopefully you would be one of those people who has a 6-hour Rubik's Cube first experience. And you're not one of those stupid people who has a 2-month Rubik's Cube experience.
Someone said several months.
Someone said several months. For me, I know that, like, I would try to solve a Rubik's Cube and then put it down, forget about it for, like, 4 weeks, and then come back to it. So does that count as taking a few months? I don't know.
Do I deserve to be in jail? I think maybe I might punish myself anyway.
Oh, that's fair. I am a big self-punisher.
I have no idea. I don't know what crimes equate to 2 months of jail time.
You played Gotcha Nose with a policeman, and he did not like it.
Huh.
He called it harassment of an officer, and all of a sudden you landed yourself in the short time slammer.
All right. How about a bit?
A bit?
A bit?
A bit? A bit! A bit.
Okay, this bit is called Rapid Fire.
Ooh.
We did this at the beginning of the podcast. We haven't done it in a while. But in this bit, a topic is presented, and we start a 90-second timer immediately afterwards. The Fesses have that much time to list as many things that fit the category as possible in a circle before the time runs out. The loser gets roasted.
Well, I can't wait to roast you.
I don't know what we want to do it about, though.
The only thing I can think of is, like, places you should not sneak in a rabbit.
Okay, so, rapid fire, it's gonna go Marissa, Karina, Amy. That is the order. The topic is places you should not sneak in a rabbit. Go.
Restaurant.
Carrot farm.
Zoo.
Prison.
Magician's hat.
Doctor's office.
A pet store?
Someone would try to buy it. At a pet store.
Nursing home.
They would like that.
Yeah, they would like that.
You shouldn't do it.
I feel like you should sneak one in there.
Okay, fine. Cemetery.
Ooh.
A Jackbox. I think Jackbox is actually a restaurant. Anyway, a McDonald's parking lot. Oh, Jack in the Box is the name. Anyway.
The sewer.
Disney World. It's Amy's turn.
Oh, you're right. The closet of a janitor's closet in an elementary school.
The Oval Office.
Airport security.
An actual plane.
Your boss's office.
That's Marissa is roasted.
I don't know what to roast her about.
Marissa, your head is so peanut shaped. I think your father may actually be Mr. Peanut.
The only word in my head right now is beans. Marissa, your butt is so hard, your father is probably a cement block.
This this is where our ads would go, if we had any. So, how about another question?
Yes.
This question was sent in by Batsy. Which horror film villain would you be a sidekick for, and what would your killer name be? There's a good Halloween-y one.
This is a good Halloween-y one. So probably Dracula.
Yeah, I mean, it fits the theme.
And I guess my name would be the Sucker.
I am waffling between whether I want to make a roast about the Sucker because, suck, or if I want to make a dirty joke about the Sucker because suck. Is it dirty joke or is it roast? I'm not sure which direction to go in.
Make whatever joke you want, just know I will then suck your blood.
I mean, that's fine. Because I am a werewolf. So it won't turn me into a vampire.
No, I'll just kill you, though. Just drain all your blood out. It'll taste bad, but it's worth it.
I don't know if that is how that works.
It is.
All I know is that the Sucker, you should probably be on a stripper pole.
I'm a stripper by day, vampire by night.
Stripper by day, vampire by night, the Sucker.
I would be Hannibal Lecter's sidekick, and my name would be the...
You want to eat people?
I don't have to eat them. I can help kill them, I don't know. Hannibal Lecter's a fun guy.
Alright, okay, go.
Well, you do have to eat them. If you are a sidekick, you have to eat them.
I feel like you have to partake.
Okay, fine.
But well, tell me the name.
I had a pun, I'm sorry. My name would be the Glad He Ate Her.
Glad He Ate Her!
Dear Lord. Dear
That's
Lord.
Amazing. See, so you have to eat them. How could you not eat them and have your name be Glad He Ate Her?
I think it's because Ina uses she, her pronouns, so if she is talking about Hannibal Lecter, who uses he, him, then she doesn't technically have to eat them.
She's
because
glad that he ate
her.
Of course, it only counts when he eats women. And then, now here we get into sexual jokes again, and maybe he's just eating pussy.
Maybe the Glad He Ate Her only has female victims.
Yeah, I only kill women, and I give them to Hannibal to pair with a nice Chianti.
Are they your ex-girlfriends?
Sure.
Well, my favorite horror movie franchise is the Saw franchise, which is not a surprise to anyone who listens to the show. So I'm just going to go for that one and work for Jigsaw, but I know that, most of them just use regular names, but in this fiction, we're just gonna go with Jigsaw, and I'll be the puzzle master. Just don't hand me a Rubik's Cube.
Unless jail's on the line, in which case you would take the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm going to jail. They're like, hi, you were working with Jigsaw. Would you like to play a game and solve this Rubik's Cube before you... Actually, I love that. That's comeuppance. All right, that was good. Here's another question.
Mm-hmm.
How much more entertaining would the Olympics be if the competitors were selected like jury duty?
That would be totally random. I love it.
Right? I think it's great because it would be like, oh, we're gonna do the butterfly. So our team is Marissa Fess, Usain Bolt for some reason, and
Michael Cera.
Ooh,
so
who would win?
Probably Usain Bolt.
You're right.
I mean, I would hope that Usain Bolt is just as fast a swimmer as he is a runner. He's got the lung capacity. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if Michael Cera somehow was secretly good at swimming and just won. And he just came out like, oh yeah, I used to swim when I was a kid.
I'm a good swimmer, but I'm not fast. I like to take my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Strong, not fast.
Exactly. I could survive an overnight treading water in the ocean, but probably not a race.
I just think that this would be hilarious. It would be much more fair. It's like Hunger Games with no deadly consequences. It's just embarrassing consequences.
I like it because then the nations are actually represented by the real people in them. That brings out more pride than the just oh, this is the best person in our nation. If your random Joe Blow from Uzbekistan wins the sprint, then that feels like real pride there. our random Joe could beat you.
I mean, it would make the stats a lot more interesting, where they're like, this guy is rated 1 to 300 odds of winning because he's, 2 feet tall and weighs 400 pounds. But this guy...
Dear God, who is this poor man?
He's just rolling, I guess, whoever this man is. But, like, the idea of it,
It would make gambling so much more interesting.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. But also, I feel like jury duty, the countries would be able to kind of get some sort of refusal. Maybe not like refusal, but like they bring the people in that they've selected, and they've been like, they'll be like, okay, this is for the swimming the 500-yard butterfly. But you are 85 years old and have never swam in your life, so you'll probably drown. So next,
right.
Yeah, like if you have a medical exemption or some kind of legitimate exemption.
Yeah, like they'll just go through your whole, and then like the people who don't want to compete will be just like jury duty, like, what do you say to get out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you said you have a heart condition? Okay, great, I'll have a heart condition. Oh, you had to bring a doctor's note? Shit. What else can I do? Anxiety? You can't prove anxiety, right? Like,
can I tell them I'm pregnant? Sir, you are a man.
But I ate a lot of pasta today. I am really heavy, like, my stomach is hard right now.
If you wiggle it just right, they might think they felt something kick.
I like that also because it reminds me of that meme that was going around during Olympics time, where they were talking about how the Olympics should have an average person competing alongside all the Olympians just for like scale. And so I just feel like if everybody was an average American, that would be hilarious.
It would be amazing.
It would be great.
And then there would just be random people. Probably there would be people who didn't even know they were good at that sport being amazing because it's just not something that they ever had to try before.
I also wonder, like, how much in advance do they pick them? Like, do they have a lot of practice time, or do they have just enough practice time to know, like, the rules? So it's like, if you're doing the sprinty thing where you have to jump over the hurdles, they know that you have to jump over them and not, like, crawl under them or go around them or something. So it's like, here's a crash course, jump over the hurdles, go. Or if they're like, you guys get a couple weeks to like try to learn how to do this, okay.
I think they get a couple practice runs.
They should get like 1 month of moderate training.
Okay.
They can provide Olympic level trainers, but 2 average people though.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I think it's funny to think about like the people who dedicate their lives to sports, like Usain Bolt, who's like definitely a runner, that is his thing, and then to have him selected for like, oh, you're gonna do the luge. And
what's the luge?
You don't know what luge is?
No.
It's like super dangerous, like almost
it's
like bobsledding.
Like, like sledding.
Oh, yeah.
Like extreme sledding, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know
or
that.
Like,
I just forgot the word.
Usain Bolt, you will be doing curling. Michael Phelps, you will be playing basketball.
Yes, he's tall enough.
Just like all these people who are like really dedicated their lives to one sport, and when the jury Olympics draft comes along, they don't even get to compete in that sport they're good at.
Yeah.
That would be fabulous.
But also, Olympic level trainers would be totally, I guess it would be people like Michael Phelps who've just dedicated their lives to the sport, as opposed to being like...
That's true.
Because, Olympic people in the Olympics are just regular people, so it'd be hard to be, like, Olympics level.
Professionally.
Unless it was just like, yo, Bobby Brown from off the street, he won gold in curling last year, so he's gonna teach ya.
Yes.
That would be amazing. Yeah, past winners come in.
We've just made the Hunger Games with no stakes.
The Hunger Games, but absolutely no death.
Hilarious.
It's just fun.
Just hilarious.
I mean, I'm here for that.
And you can put in what you want to put in out of it. Because it's like jury duty, you have to do it. No one ever said you had to try, though. And you guarantee, I can guarantee you there's going to be a couple people who just blow it off.
Right.
Like, they'll be there, but they're not going to try.
You're just guaranteed screen time. So if you want to, like, use that screen time to meme yourself and just, like, they pull the trigger on the gun to say, start running now, and you just pull out a lawn chair and a Mai Tai and start sipping, like...
Oh, that would be amazing meme.
You can meme yourself, that's great.
You can also plug your podcast.
Or if you have, like, one talent, but it has nothing to do with sports. Like, I can imagine someone using that screen time, like, 1, 2, 3, go! And they're supposed to start running a race, and they just whip out their fiddle, and they're like, listen to me play!
They're like, I'm a speed painter, so I'll do that instead. They paint the winner as they come across the finish line.
I bet those people are publicly hated by their own country, though.
Oh, definitely, because the country still wants you to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
High risk, high reward situation.
Yes.
Yeah, but also hilarious. Those would be my favorite people, because I don't care about nationalism.
I know, nationalism is stupid. It's fun for the Olympics because you don't really, mean it, you know? But,
right.
For real? Nah.
Yeah.
So guess what, guys?
What?
It's time for... What two are you?
Ooh.
Oh my god, you just murdered 8 people and made 20 dogs bark. What the hell?
I know, I have a migraine.
With a
that
sonic
set it off.
screech! Holy fuck!
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I guess she's not a Gumby, she's a Banshee.
I guess. As scary as that ooh was, our What Two Are You is even scarier for Halloween. This is gonna be What Two Addams Family characters are you?
Ooh, spoopy.
Do-do-do-do. 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 Do-do-do-do.
I love the Addams Family.
Let's start with Ina, because we all know what Ina's about to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ina's number 1 is, of course, Pugsley Addams.
Yes.
I love that boy. I love him.
An awkward little egg boy.
Awkward little egg boy. He, like a lot of iterations, he ends up having kind of long legs comparatively to his body. Usually that's because his body is round, and so it's just visually funny for him to have toothpick legs in contrast to his body, but still, Ina is leggy is what I'm trying to get at.
Also, she thick, and so is Pugsley.
She thick and so is Pugsley.
I mean, she thick in a curvy way, but Pugsley's a little boy, so...
She thick with 2 C's, and he's thick with a CK.
Right.
But it's fine.
But the homonym is there.
Yes. I think if Ina were to be into some sort of kink, it would be receiving pain, just because she has this sort of self-sacrificial nature where she's don't do it to me instead. So
I mean, also she has a very high pain tolerance.
She does have a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
Pain doesn't necessarily bother me.
Ooh.
So Pugsley is the one who receives all of Wednesday's torture. That is his role in the family. He's kind of the one who gets kicked, except for that he wants to get kicked. You know, they kick him when he's down, but he lays down on the floor himself on purpose.
Yeah. He always seems like a sweet boy. Despite being a spookery boy.
Yeah. He's definitely sweet. If you get into Addams Family musical route, he just cares about his sister. He doesn't care if his sister is dating somebody who the family might not approve of. He just wants his sister back. He's really close with his family. They all have a really tight bond, but especially him and Wednesday, which Ina is definitely very close to her sisters. I can say from firsthand experience that she is.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And she gets dragged into doing a lot of things. Case in point, this podcast. So,
also, fun fact, Addams Family musical is Ina's favorite musical.
It is her favorite musical.
It is, and my dream role is Pugsley. I think I've said that before.
Ina's obsessed with Pugsley.
He's so cute.
But in this case, you absolutely are the one that you're obsessed with. So,
yes.
Thank you.
I feel like that's enough things. We could probably go on, but Ina's Pugsley.
Yes.
Tell me that I'm wrong.
Thank you. I'm so happy. All right.
Amy is Gomez.
Yes! Yes!
He's fun, flamboyant, he's very outgoing.
Oh.
He's incredibly talkative.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
He's
sensual and sexual.
Yes, exactly. Sensual and sexual. Just has a lot of fun. Even in serious situations, he just wants to have fun. And also, really loves his family. Doesn't judge his family for what they do. is just sad when they don't do what he wants them to do.
That sounds right.
He's also like the family leader. He's the one in charge. Then in the Fess family, Amy's the one that bosses us around, so I would say she's the leader.
Hey.
She's definitely the lead of the podcast.
Hell yeah.
The bossy one.
I love it.
I feel like Gomez is extremely spot on.
Yes.
I do love swords, and he's like a sword fighter, and that makes me happy.
There you go.
All right. Marissa's Wednesday definitely wants to pretend that she's not a sweet bean, but is a sweet bean. But also can be very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Also knows a lot about blood and gore. Is the closest to being a vampire, probably.
I don't know. Mortician's pretty vampiric too.
Okay, you're right. But also just Wednesday has this fascination with just observing other people, and I feel like although Marissa isn't necessarily observant naturally, but she gets fixations on people and she wants to know everything about them.
I also enjoy people watching.
Yes, exactly. She loves to people watch.
Heck yeah. Also, she tortures you on the reg by forcing you to get her ice cream and drinks and shit while she's being lazy.
Yes.
That's our Addams Family kind of torture.
I mean, Anna, I would say I'm pessimistic.
Yeah. You like to wear braids.
I do.
Also, you get confused with romantic relationships.
Fair?
Yeah.
As we say every episode, I swear.
I know, every episode of this podcast is just reasons not to date Marissa.
No, that's not true. But if we're done with Wednesday, I want to go right into Marissa's second.
All right.
I feel very strongly that Marissa's second is Cousin It.
Oh.
So hear me out.
Very hairy.
She's got a lot of hair. That's number one. Marissa's got a lot of hair on her head. It's so thick. She could grow it long. It's usually not super long, but if it was longer, that girl be flipping it over her head. She wears glasses. So does Cousin It. But also he's the silly one. He's got this high-pitched, hilarious voice. He's just kind of and making weird noises. And Marissa loves to make weird noises like that.
She speaks in gibberish all the time.
Yes. And she's very funny and fun-loving, and he is both of those things. But also, he's just, as much as Marissa can be someone who's serious as Wednesday, she's also got this silly side like Cousin It has, and brings just
very weird.
Weird, and is a bright spot in every episode that he's in, or every movie that he's in, or whatever.
Aww.
I mean, even to this day, the family values where he comes in with his little baby kills me. I can vividly remember that scene because it tickled me so much.
It's adorable.
I love it.
So, I think Marissa would be Cousin It. Also, her favorite Muppet, Swedish Chef. So,
yeah.
Just so many reasons.
It works.
I feel
Amy's second one is the grandma.
I was gonna say that for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for you too.
Oh, we're all grandma energy.
I was just waiting. I thought mine was gonna be Fester.
Oh, that does work. You're right. Okay, well,
I mean, case in point, Festus. So
that's true. We all have the grandma energy, that's for sure.
What is a grandma's name?
I don't remember it.
It's just grandma.
I think it's just Grandma Addams.
Well, they don't even know if she's really an Addams. They don't know if she's Morticia or Gomez's mom.
Grandmama is her name.
Oh, Grandmama.
I think.
Yep, Grandmama.
Ina is Grandmama.
All right. Elaborate.
She is very kooky. That is her go-to is she's funny and zany and kind of out there. And Ina, once you get Ina in a one of those zany laughing moods where she's just stuck laughing, that girl is absolutely something else. She becomes just psychotic in a hilarious way. Get Ina drunk and you'll know what I'm talking about. She just
she's crazy.
She gets crazy and hyper, and it's very funny and very grandmama.
Yes. Grandmama, I feel doesn't get enough screen time in the films, and I haven't seen the actual TV show. But she's very fun and weird, like Amy was saying. Also, Ina is a cackler.
Yes.
That's true.
Her laugh frequently goes into cackle territory, specifically when she gets really hyper. Like, because, like, not only does she get really weird when she's drunk, but also she gets slap happy and the
Yes.
craziest things happen. Like, she'll just laugh hysterically in, like, a demonic cackling laugh about things that don't even make sense anymore. And she'll just be weird. But Grandmama is very upbeat, and she's involved with her family.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my information from Grandmama comes from the musical, where I do feel like she gets the most screen time, kind of all the Addams Family things, and she just kind of goes for it. She's like, what's a little, like trickster situation I can do to kind of make things fun?
Yeah.
And so she comes out with, like, here's a potion to tell the truth out of nowhere. And she's smart enough to be able to make all these potions and shit. So.
Uh-huh. She's very mischievous, and Ina
Yes.
can definitely be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love it.
And Amy is definitely Uncle Fester. And like she was saying, Amy gets called Festus in our family. Like,
I am the only one in the entire Fess family whose nickname is Festus.
yeah, like we all have cute childhood nicknames. Like, mine is Mookie, and Ina's is Edie Bear, and then Amy was Festus.
Festus.
I was Festus or Amy the Cakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Festus, my mom has always called me Festus. Don't really know why. She has on occasion called me Fester as well. Festus, Fester, not like weird for me. I will respond to both of them, but especially Festus. Don't really know why, but that was my nickname.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I feel like it first evolved in childhood, like when you were in trouble, they would call Festus, but then it evolved into more playful thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But anyway, so moving on to actually Uncle Fester, though. He is very eccentric.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy is definitely an eccentric person.
Thanks.
He's kind of ditzy, and Amy isn't necessarily ditzy for real, but she sometimes puts on a ditzy persona. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like part of her sense of humor. So they're similar in that way too.
He's extra as hell, and so am I.
Very extra.
Incredibly extra.
Also, Amy can sometimes be oblivious to what other people are thinking.
And that's definitely Fester.
She thinks that she always knows what's going on with other people's thoughts, but sometimes she just doesn't. And I feel like that's very Fester. He, like, when he gets married, he thinks that she loves him, but she very obviously doesn't. And, like, I don't know. Not that I'm saying that, like, Amy would be that oblivious, but just once in a while there's something like she just misreads a situation because that's not how she feels about it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, that's usually when I get the anxiety that Fester has, because I usually am, like, self-aware enough to be like, I think that I may be, like, I may not be reading this correctly, but my overthinking brain is thinking this is what's going on. So now I have anxiety.
Right. It's not that Amy doesn't have good social skills. She has very good social skills. It's just sometimes she just doesn't.
I was just trying to add on to what you were saying and be like, I also have his anxiety in those situations.
Yeah.
I feel like Fester has anxiety too, just in a different way. Like, you know, especially in the first, like, the things that I think about the most are the Addams Family 90s films, and in the first one, he has a lot of anxiety because of his, like, mother or whatever, like, quote unquote. And he just does that classic Christopher Lloyd gasping a lot, just like, yeah, I just feel like he was very anxious in that one.
But also, Amy does gasp a lot.
I feel like that's true.
That's fair.
Just like, that's just random, but true. You brought it up and it's true.
That's fair.
She makes silly noises, and so does he.
Yeah.
And once again, he's very bubbly and positive.
Yes, very bubbly, happy, loves his family a lot.
Yes. He's just a big oaf.
Himbo.
He doesn't want to be alone.
Yes.
But he is awkward, and I feel like I don't want to be alone, and maybe I'm awkward, I don't know.
You're sometimes awkward.
Depends on the scenario.
You're less awkward than Marissa or I. But...
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, so in conclusion, Amy is Gomez Addams and Uncle Fester, Marissa is Wednesday Addams and Cousin It, and Ina is Pugsley Addams and Grandmama.
I feel like my combo makes the least sense. Like, not like it describes me, but like they don't seem like they would go together.
I mean, I just got lucky to get the brothers, but
You really did.
Yeah.
I don't know that necessarily makes sense. Like they go together or anything.
Grandma and Pugsley definitely have a fun relationship. They love each other so much.
All right, here is another question.
Ah.
Could you trust a nurse whose husband was a mortician?
I love this question.
No. No, you could not.
I mean, how do you find out that her husband is a mortician? Like, do you go in there knowing because he's like the most famous mortician in town?
Maybe it's a small town.
Or does it just like come out in like her treating you and then all of a sudden the trust is gone when she's like, oh yeah, my husband's a mortician. And you're like, oh shit.
That would definitely be scary.
Right.
I was thinking like it's a small town scenario where everyone knows each other's business, but if she just slips it out like that, that's definitely less trustworthy.
Because I feel like you'd have no choice but to trust a nurse most of the time unless you knew going in that her husband was the mortician.
Right.
In which case, then you can like choose if you want to trust her or not.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Maybe her husband's a mortician that hates his job. He doesn't like to work. Like, he wants to do less work.
A lazy mortician.
So, in that case, you can double trust her because her husband's so lazy he doesn't want to deal with another dead body this week.
We keep saying mortician and I'm thinking Morticia. Ugh. I think it also depends, like, does she like her husband?
Ooh,
how much of
true.
their income depends on her husband's line of work, and how much of their income depends on her line of work.
Yeah, it depends on how, like, successful he is.
Basically, we need to get real nosy about her personal life in order to trust her.
I think I could trust her most of the time. I mean, nobody wants to be the person who's killing their patients.
Some people do.
Like, you don't want to get a reputation as the cursed nurse, especially if your husband is a mortician, because I feel like any person who she kills, she starts getting
the side eye.
Yeah, maybe the side eye, maybe it's just kind of like a running joke between, like, the other nurses, like, you just wanted to give your husband some business, and it just, like, one time that happens. Because I feel like that could get really embarrassing for her.
Suspicions would run high.
Right. But also, though, if she were in a sort of a Mrs. Lovett Sweeney Todd relationship, I don't think she'd care. I think she would just do it. You gotta know, you gotta psychoanalyze your nurse if she's married to a mortician.
Oh yeah, I mean I think that there could be a case if like their income is 90% his mortician business because he owns a whole business and they have to keep it afloat, then I can see her becoming some like spooky, I want to say Black Widow, but that's not exactly what's going on, but like a spooky kind of a serial killer nurse so that her husband keeps getting business.
Spooky Halloween.
Spooky Halloween.
But I feel like if she hated her husband, she might want his business to fail, even if that would fuck up her own finances, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be funny to see like a movie or a show like that where it's just here this nurse who's like pissed at her husband or whatever, and he's like, I'm not getting enough people dying in this town, and she's like, no one's gonna die in this town again, and she like goes out of her way to go above and beyond for all of her patients, almost house style, where they're like, we can't figure out what's wrong, and she's like, I'm not resting until I find out what's wrong. And she's like,
I feel like she starts applying vigilante treatment, like, that's not your job, don't go in there, and she's like, I have to fix this.
Definitely.
and then she finds out that, like, oh, this man who's, like, an inch from death really just had a splinter in his toe the whole time that you missed, and it was so infected. But I fixed it, and now he's better. Suck it, Bob! You don't get any business today!
Amazing.
Maybe it's because Bob didn't respect her as a nurse.
Oh.
And now she's gaining that respect and crushing his, the town's respect of him as a mortician because he ain't got no work, really.
Or maybe he is, like, they've just had a great marriage, a great relationship, everything, before, you know, the movie starts. And the movie starts, like, he's starting to business is going low, people aren't dying fast enough, and so he just kind of like assumes his wife will help him out. He's like, you deal with people who might be dying a lot. Could you just like make sure some of them do for me, for your husband? And she's like, I would never be so unethical. And then she's so appalled by this insinuation that she would try to kill people for her husband's business that it begins this rivalry and war between the two.
I feel like the only person in that scenario that would have to worry about not trusting her is her husband.
I know, right?
True.
He gets sick at the end and she kills him, and then all of a sudden she takes over his mortician business too, just for his funeral.
Oh, well.
You finally got some business, Bob!
And then they just integrate the mortician business into the hospital, and then it's like a 2-for-1. If you happen to die, they can take care of it there.
That's it. I got my embalming fluids in the cart. I'll just go grab them real quick, wheel them in, and boom! You want an autopsy? I can do it right away.
There we go. I feel like that would be efficient in life.
Hollywood, you cannot steal this from us. We came up with it first. TM trademark. Copyrighted. Thank you.
Could you imagine if calling dibs like that was a real thing? I said the word copyright. Clearly I have it.
Yeah. But we could still sue because we came up with the idea.
Yeah, if we don't get a writing credit on this story, then we can say, that was my story. You can hear it in this podcast dated on this date where I said copyright TM like 85 times after I said it, and you didn't give me a writing credit or anything, because I would want to also act in it.
You stole our idea.
Like, all of us want roles. Hollywood, if you're making this, just give us roles and we'll be satisfied.
Yeah.
Good roles.
Yeah.
Good roles.
Dinner rolls.
Ina just wants bread, but Marissa and I want some good meaty parts out of this. We want leading roles here.
Ina just wants to, like, be on set and get all those delicious lunches.
Yes.
Yes. Give me some dinner rolls.
Amazing.
I love that. We're just like, give us a role, and Ina's like, oh yeah, I could go for a biscuit right now.
The boss is on a roll.
As a child, I genuinely thought, like, I couldn't think of anything else but a dinner roll. Like, I didn't understand that, like, phrase. I was just like, why did she say she's on a roll? There's no bread there.
We've absolutely talked about this before.
Talk about it once, talk about it again. It haunts her.
Didn't you also think that, Marissa?
No.
Oh, maybe it's just Ina.
I'm sure I thought some weird things, but that wasn't one of them.
Well, on that note, that's all the ice breaking we can do today. If we break any more ice, then our mortician husband is gonna start sniffing around trying to collect all those bodies that fall in there. We can't have that.
What?
If you'd like to send us a question, message us on Facebook or Instagram at Fess Up Podcast. You can send us an email at fessuppodcast@gmail.com. Tweet a question at us at fessup_podcast. And don't forget to use the hashtag UbFest. Send us new questions or let us know what happened when you used our icebreakers with your friends. Share our podcast with everyone you know and get the word out there about your 3 wacky friends. That's it for me. I've been Amy Fess.
I've been Marissa Fess.
I thought Amy said that she'd been a mess, and I think that's hilarious.
She has been a mess.
I'm always a hot mess.
And I've been Ina Fess.
And I've got to go because I got to solve a Rubik's Cube so I can get out of jail. Bye!